last week, Monday, at about 10 p.m. KTN, so the launch of a new drama series called Stay. Let's have a look at this clip and then get into our discussion.
Baby! Baby! What's wrong? What's wrong?
Your mother and some French girl.
What? My mother's with a French girl?
Your mother left a message.
What? Where? Why? How?
It's on your Skype. Go look.
I met the loveliest girl for you to marry. Meet. She's thin and beautiful and rich and white, and she already loves you, or at least your photographs. So please, be good and don't fall prey to any of the girls down there. They have a horrible reputation in Paris. Hello?
Oh, look, Nubia, don't listen to that, okay? She's crazy. She's always trying to play matchmaker for me.
But doesn't she know about me?
Well, no, I've been wanting to tell her, actually,
Shane, I am living with you. And your own mother doesn't even know I exist?
Look, I know. Look, I've been wanting to tell her really, really badly, okay? And she's in Paris. It's hard to find the right time, but look, I promise you, I will do so today, okay? And I'm gonna get these stupid ideas out of her head.
You promise?
I promise, baby, and listen to me. Listen, I promise you as well, you are my #1 priority, okay? And I am not going to let anything at all come between us.
Okay, baby. I was so worried.
I know, which you don't have to be, okay?
Oh, interesting. Yes, I have the two right now in studio with me. Stay, as I mentioned, launched last week Monday at 10 p.m. so catch it tonight as well. But joining me in studio is Mkamze Mwatela and Jason Corder. You just saw them, watch them both, and here they are. Thank you for joining us. Tell us about Stay.
Oh, why?
Yes, what is it? Direct to the point. What is Stay about?
Tell us about Kenya. Okay. No, well, it's about an interracial relationship. You know, it's just, really, it's a story about a couple, just the things that couples go through, but more so when you're so different. And, you know, at the beginning, it said it all last week, you know, a relationship is hard enough when you're from a different background, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, yeah, this makes it more complicated.
Yes.
Yeah, and on a wider level, it's also about the general culture clash that takes place in Kenya, where you have so many foreigners here and for a long time, and there's a lot of comedy in those relationships between the foreigners and locals, as well as a lot of serious drama. So both of those are in the show as well.
So how did you come to be on the show? What was the process like to being part of this?
Well, Stay is something I wrote over the last couple of years myself, and I worked...
How long ago?
I started conceiving of the show, I'd say 2 years ago, and then I wrote it over the last year or so. And then I've been lucky enough to work with Nkamze in the past. We already had sort of plans to work together in the future, and then this was the perfect opportunity. So once I had written the show and I knew what I was looking for, Nkamze was immediately the choice as the star of the show.
As the star of the show.
Yes.
I like how he puts it so politely. Apparently, I approached him and said, one day you and I must have an affair on screen. So that's really how I got the part, but then it's fine. Thank you for just...
You were the automatic, choice.
It's like, yes.
Yeah.
No, because I told him. So anyway.
She did say that was the first thing
she did say.
The first thing I said when I met him, apparently.
Very first words
I don't remember, but okay.
So very important. Be careful what you tell a person the first time you meet them. You never know. Could get you a job later on.
Get you a job.
So what inspired the writing, the coming up with this kind of, just talking about and bringing out this scenario and the issues that are in relationships and more so interracial?
Yeah. Well, a lot of it for me, I think, sort of started autobiographically, coming to Kenya 6 years ago, as I did, having relationships here, meeting people here, also watching a lot of things going on around me, watching foreigners, white people, whatever, freaking out when the taxi is late. Mzungus. When the taxi doesn't come on time, watching them go into hysterics, and a lot. Again, I saw there's a lot of comedy for me in those relationships. But then, on a personal level, it's something I've experienced having relationships here in Kenya, and you know, it's exciting because there's so many differences, but then it's also very challenging because of those differences, because you can't just assume that the person you're with is going to have the same attitude about everything that you do.
Okay, so interesting that it draws a bit from your own experiences in the country. Want to share with us one of those interesting experiences you had? Should share with us one of them.
Yeah.
I should.
Yes, you should.
I should. I won't, but I really should. Anyway, moving on.
Do share.
I'll stop putting you on the spot. But Nkamze, for you, your character in this particular show, what are some of the challenges? What are the people likely to expect with you watching the show? What will they be seeing? Because now tonight is the second show, right?
It is.
And there are 13 episodes, so 11 more after tonight. Yeah.
Well, I mean, one of the challenges was the fact that I know nothing about what he's saying, because I have experienced nothing. So, I mean, no, really. So relating to the character is also a bit hard, I mean, for me. And I think it's because he was on the writing team, so he knows, and some of those things, and sometimes I'd be like, really? But but I hope that, I think people will, there are a few people who did say at the opening that they saw themselves, or even, in fact, someone said to me who is of mixed race that they saw their parents, and they now could understand certain things about how their parents may have met and what their parents may have gone through, and you'll see a lot more of that, the challenges that she has to face, the insecurities that she deals with. And I think I find that everyone else is funny. I don't think my character is very funny, but I think that's partly because, you know, the voice is in her head and you're seeing all these other people. So I mean, it's interesting. It's different. I like the fact that it's different. So people are likely to see a lot of differences in the way other shows may be shot to this one. And
I like that you said that at the very beginning, that for you it's been hard because it's not something you've a situation you've been in before. So what does it take for you to get yourself into the role and actually make me at home believe that this is for real, because you are acting at the end of the day, but as a viewer I shouldn't be like, okay, so she's acting. Well,
with all acting, at some point, you know, when you read, if it's a good story, you connect with certain emotions, because the situation may be unfamiliar, but the emotions that accompany it, you know, insecurity, you know, unease, sadness, happiness, joy, all those things are familiar to us. So you can, the story is well written, you always get that. So that was one of the things I mean, I had a problem because I kept telling him, she's so insecure. She's so insecure. And I really, you know, at first didn't connect to that. I'm like,
you're not insecure. That is not the script you read from.
But but it was good, because it was good to also get into that part of yourself and think, it's true. We carry all these things inside of us. So it's, at some point you connect to it on some level.
And in Stay, the mother-in-law plays a key role and is a key voice. And what are some of the things she brings out in this show?
Well, she's the one that comes and just starts to make everything very, very difficult for our happy young couple. And it's not, you know, I didn't want to make her overtly evil. You know, I wanted the characters to be believable, realistic people. It's not a soap opera. It's meant to portray a real world with real people. So it's not that she's an outright racist. You know, that wouldn't probably. She's from a wealthy background. She's well educated. It wouldn't make sense that she's sort of this actual racist. But at the same time, she's never seen her son with a black woman. It's not something that she's sort of comfortable with, even if she, on sort of a normal level, is open and tolerant in general. So she comes and really tries to break up the relationship. And I mean, she tries at first to get along with Nubia. Nubia is the name of Nkamze's character. She tries a bit, but then when she sees that Shane, which is the male character, is really still in love with Nubia and it's not going to change, then she starts using more devious tactics to break things up.
To break things up. And we see, especially for those who now get married or are living together, the voice of the in-laws, you know, sometimes becomes the one that you cannot run away from. It's there. And whilst most couples will want to fight on and stay on, at the end of the day, for some, it inadvertently breaks them up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whether it's proper to ask what will happen with this particular Will they rise above?
Will they make it?
Will they make it?
We'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm so waiting to see.
No, I mean, and I think it's interesting, like, I mean, what he was saying, it's important to note that some of the things that she does think are things that are true. So it's also what, I mean, you know, you have all these judgments about, oh my God, she's being so evil. But some of the things she says and some of the impressions that she has are, you know, true. And to what extent, you know, like, do we have all these judgments based on, you know, these things that we think that are based in things that are only in our heads. But there are things that she says, and at first they're painful to hear, but then you're like, well, that is true. She's being protective like a mother because that's something she's heard and that's something that does happen. So when she says certain things, it's not just in a vacuum. But you'll have to wait and see. But she's quite something.
She's quite something.
She's quite something.
She is. Okay. I'll get to your personal careers. When did you get into the business for you?
Of TV, film, etc., etc. Honestly, it's something I really fell into more once I got to Kenya. My background is in the arts. I've always been a visual artist and a musical artist and a singer, etc. But writing and producing is something that came more recently to me. So it's been a really challenging but extremely enjoyable experience to sort of explore those other parts of the arts that I had never done before. So.
And it's not easy. I can't imagine to just put down a whole series on paper.
It's not. It's incredibly challenging. But I did it's one thing that's nice to see is I can see a progression where when I started, I felt like it was impossible, and then a year or two later, I feel like I could sit down now and write another script or another season of this show. And I sort of know what I'm doing. So it's nice to see that.
What informed the naming of the show, Stay?
It's actually the name of a song of mine that I am going to be releasing over the next year as well.
Okay.
It originally had a different title, and it was our director and editor, Ash Jivu, who said, why don't we just call it Stay?
Yeah. You know, I thought it's because the mother-in-law came and stayed.
It's a bit, well, don't refer to that.
Everyone just stays. Actually, that's a good one.
You're right, You're exactly right. It does refer to that part of it too.
Okay, what about for you? How long have you been acting?
Wow, 10 years. 10 years professionally.
Okay.
Yes, because the first time I ever took the stage, because I was on stage for a very long time, it was 2003, so this is actually my 10th year.
And what would you say, because in the past weeks we've been seeing the discussion and debate on local content, you know, and how much of that should be regulated by law, and in fact to just put it out there that 40% or 60% of whatever is on air, local television, is locally produced. Being around for the time you have, what change, development have you seen over the years?
I think that I mean, when it came by, it was necessary, very necessary, because, you know, you needed to have people actually producing things and putting them on air, and I think it encouraged that to a very large extent. And I might get a lot of bullets coming at me for this, but then I think now it's actually, in a sense, it's a challenge that we should just accept, because what it then means is that we already now are producing all these things. And now we're at that point where it becomes about who does it better, you know, because the ability is there, the doors are open, and we can do it. And when you are being challenged with there's no longer a law, you know, you have to produce better. That's actually what I think. I think it will...
Exactly, because a law then gets you thinking, oh, well, they'll have to take it.
They have to take it. And I think right now, it was necessary at the time because it had to open those doors. But now I think that they're open, we can now be like, okay, I have to do it so well that they have to take it. So I think that it's very necessary now, as opposed to, I mean, earlier that was necessary, and now it's just come at the right time. And I think that we have become a bit, you know, lax. Like, we're just like, okay, you know, it has to be there. And sometimes even the other way around, the broadcasters are kind of like, as long as it's local content, it's fine, you know. And it also challenges TV stations, I think, to be, even when they're commissioning shows and doing, you know, you have to pick the interest of the audience. You have to make sure that you're commissioning a show that people actually want to watch. I mean, I think it's both ways that you, even there's content out there that is not picked up, that is of great quality, that people don't feel people want to watch. I think it also challenges TV stations to look outside the box and kind of be like, okay, what do I have to take, and because of that non-law.
Yeah, non-law.
It's a non-law.
Jason, it must, as you said, of course, a lot of work in terms of writing, but in putting it together, somebody watching and thinking, it's something I'd like to do some point, but it's also expensive. It takes a lot. If you're to draw a picture for somebody who's thinking, you know what, this is what I'd like to do, what picture would you paint?
I guess there's two main elements. One is the team that you're going to work with, which is so crucial. And I was lucky enough, because I have worked in music and also in TV and film here, that I was able to draw on people that I knew, that I liked the way they worked, their professionalism, their personalities, etc. So I was lucky enough to already have guys around me that I could sort of go to, who would be willing to take on a project like this. Obviously, secondary is funding. And yeah, I mean, I think it boils down to being able to put together a really good presentation on paper, and to be able to express it as well in person. And then it's a question of going to the corporate world and especially choosing the right company that matches your project. So what is this company's ideals? What is their image, their branding image to the public? Does it match my project? And if it does, then I think you go to them with all 100% of your confidence, and it can happen. It does happen all the time.
It does happen all the time.
There's big companies in Kenya and around the world that are always sponsoring projects of different types, so it is possible.
All right. Finally, why should people watch the show?
Oh, we're on it. I mean, okay, we're on it. I don't know the on it. I mean, it's different. I think it's the kind of show that is very, like you said, it's not a soap opera, but it's so interesting. Even when you're reading it, doing it as well, it challenges you. That's why people should watch. It challenges a lot of your own ideas, a lot of your own judgments, and I think you should watch it. Even just, and then of course the shot, the images are beautiful. Like just for that.
Okay.
As well.
Mkamze Mwatela.
Yes.
Said actor, not actress, because there's no doctress.
Yes, doctress.
So it's a female actor.
A female actor.
And Jason Corder. So on the show is Nubia and Shane. And so you must watch the show, which airs tonight on KTN at 10. It's the second show. There are 11 more after that to go, to find out, as this couple faces the odds, will they remain together? I'm curious. I'm hoping to ask them after this whether they will. Then I'll probably tell you at the end of the show. We're taking a short break now. Stay with us, because still ahead, it's 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. Or in that 16-day period, we'll be talking about that, and of course also talking to a rape survivor, just as we put front and center the importance of having this discussion. So that's coming up in a short while. Stay with KTN. Thank you.